Brian Robinson, Tharon Johnson back. Brian, let me start with you, and I want to talk about North Korea. There have been 6 missile tests from North Korea in the last month. No repatriation of the remains of South Korea, of the Korean War dead in almost a year. The president calls his North Korea policy success. How?
Well, they're still talking to us to some degree. And look, when he tweets and says this isn't a big deal, I don't think he believes that. I don't think the people in his administration believe that. And if he does believe it, I think it's a minority opinion within his administration. Obviously, it is a big deal. Look at how he's carefully wording it, that it's not outside of our current agreements.
But it's outside of UN's sanctions.
It's outside of their current agreement with the U.S. No matter what he is very specifically saying. Look, this is a big deal. But let's not forget, 2 years ago, we all went nuts when he said fire and fury, threatening a nuclear holocaust. This is better than that. And let's maybe give him a little bit of credit. He has put a lot of time into this issue, a lot of time into developing this relationship. I think what he is doing is looking long-term, which I would say is not always a strong point, but he's looking long-term in trying to find a deal that can last, and he's trying to be polite, he's trying to be diplomatic. Maybe I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but I think it's a possibility.
What about that? I mean, the Obama administration didn't have much success with Kim Jong-un. So, I mean, the Democrats who are critical, are you in a place to be critical?
Yes, because I think that while the president did go over and foster a relationship with Kim Jong-un, but he basically, his diplomatic approach has failed. I mean, because at the end of the day, he's had this ongoing communications and we haven't seen any progress. Yeah. But also, at a time where you just laid it out, Victor, we saw that they're basically using some of these missile testing exercises in South Korea. And so while we are here in this country, we know that they're testing missiles day in, day in, day in. So I think that the key is that the president just needs to understand that this has just been a failed diplomatic process on his part.
White House is considering a $4 billion recession package to cut funding to the United Nations, to the Northern Triangle, El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, where so many migrants are coming from. 2 Republicans, Lindsey Graham, Hal Rogers, sent a letter to the president saying that this would undermine significant national security and anti-terrorism efforts, complicate the ability of the administration and Congress to work constructively on future appropriations deals. How big of a deal is this cutback of finances potentially?
This is a huge deal. And listen, the Republicans and Democrats, but especially the Republicans, are being commended to stand up to this president. But what we have here is that the president basically thinks that the White House can just do whatever it wants. I mean, he's running it like it's a business. But what the president is failing to realize is that you have to have cooperation and participation from Congress. And so you have these members of Congress that are saying, look, this foreign aid is something that we shouldn't cut. Let's look elsewhere where we can make those cuts, but don't cut this foreign aid.
Let me come to you on, we haven't done this in a while, but the Washington Post just released its latest count of the president's false and misleading claims, 12,019. He crossed 10,000 on April 26th and has been averaging 20 bunk claims a day. We have been using this version of a kid's game, how many gumballs in the jar. There's one gumball on this shelf for every one of the 12,019 false and misleading claims. We've now filled 22 jars. Brian, how does the Republican Party stand behind a president who's made 12,019 false or misleading claims?
I think the Republican Party feels very comfortable in going, this is coming from an outlet that the president and many of his voters see as enemy. They've said that. And look, here's
truth is truth, whether the Washington Post reports it or whether CNN reports it.
Now, look,
there are things that are true or not.
That's easy for you to say. Look, man.
Yeah, it's very easy for me to say
because y'all have
that China's not paying the tariffs.
Y'all have
It's very easy to say that he knew about the payments to Stormy Daniels.
Y'all have not been Republican communicators in this country. And let me tell you, the incredulousness that we take from the media is not applied to Democrats. And why is that? It's because these fact checkers are usually liberals themselves, and they see the world.
Facts don't have a political angle.
A lot of this isn't facts, Victor. A lot of this is perspective, and they really read into it.
I love the gumball.
Even the China thing.
It is either true or it is not, and 12,019 of those are false and misleading.
I disagree that it's true or it's not.
Okay.
No, a lot of it is perspective.
You can disagree. 12,019.
Liberals see the world differently than conservatives do. They see the world differently, and that shapes how they see facts.
I can't believe you were arguing this point.
Absolutely.
But Brian Robinson, Tharon Johnson.
I feel so comfortable.
I just want to know if I can get one to gumball.
I lived it.
Chris, I got to send it back to you.